ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या सम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। ॐ नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। Let us chant Anna Brahma Upasana in the third Tritiya Bhruguvalli as a part of our chanting, and then we can do it. Om Annam Nanindyat Tadvratam Prano Va Annam Shariramannadam Prane Shariram Pratishtitam Sharire Pranah Pratishthitah Tadetadannamanye Pratishtitam Saya etadannamanye Pratishtitam Veda Pratitishthati Annavanannado Bhavati Mahan Bhavati Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchasena Mahan Kirtya Annam na Parichakshita Tadvratam Apova Annam Jyotirannadam Apsu Jyoti Pratishtitam Jyotishyapa Pratishthitah Tadetadannamanye Pratishtitam Saya etadannamanye Pratishtitam Veda Pratitishthati Annavanannado Bhavati Mahan Bhavati Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchasena Mahan Kirtya Annam Bahukurvita Tadvratam Pruthivi Va Annam Akasho Nadaha Pruthivyam Pratishtitah Akashe Pruthivi Pratishtita Tadetadannamanye Pratishtitam Saya etadannamanye Pratishtitam Veda Pratitishthati Annavanannado Bhavati Mahan Bhavati Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchasena Mahan Kirtya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Atha Shri Krishna Yajurvedantargata Taittiriya Shakhantargata Taittiriya Upanishad Siksha Valli Shanti Mantraha. Om Shanno Mitraha Sham Varunaha Shanno Bhavatvaryama Shanna Indro Bruhaspatihi Shanno Vishnurukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Rutam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmamavato Tadvaktaramavato Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Yasmad Jatam Jagat Sarvam Yasmin Eva Praliyate Yenedandharyate Chaiva Tasmai Jnanatmane Namaha. Yairime Gurubhi Purvam Padavakya Pramanatah Vyakhyataha Sarva Vedantaha Tan Nityam Pranatosmyaham Taittiriya Kasarasya Vayacharya Prasadatah विस्पष्टार्थरुचीनां हि व्याख्येयं सम्प्रणीयते। ॐ अथ द्वितीयोऽनुवाकः शिक्षाध्यायः। ॐ शिक्षां व्याख्यास्यामः वर्णस्वरः मात्राबलं सामसन्तानः इत्युक्तः शिक्षाध्यायः। ॐ अथ तृतीयोऽनुवाकः संहिता उपनिषत् संहिता उपासनम्। ॐ सहनौ यशः सहनौ ब्रह्मवर्चसम् अथातः संहिताया उपनिषदं व्याख्यास्यामः पञ्चस्वधिकरणेषु अधिलोकमधिज्यौतिषमधिविद्यमधिप्रजमध्यात्मम् तामहासंहिता इत्याचक्षते। अथाधिलोकं पृथिवीपूर्वरूपं द्यौरुत्तररूपम् आकाशः सन्धिः वायुः सन्धानम् इत्यधिलोकम् अथाधिज्यौतिषम् अग्निः पूर्वरूपम् आदित्य उत्तररूपम् आपः सन्धिः वैद्युतः सन्धानम् इत्यधिज्यौतिषम् अथाधिविद्यम् आचार्यः पूर्वरूपम् अन्तेवास्युत्तररूपम् विद्यासन्धिः प्रवचनगुं सन्धानम् इत्यधिविद्यम् अथाधिप्रजम् माता पूर्वरूपम् पितोत्तररूपम् प्रजासन्धिः प्रजननगं सन्धानम् इत्यधिप्रजम् अथाध्यात्मम् अधराहनु पूर्वरूपम् उत्तराहनुरुत्तररूपम् वाक् सन्धिः जिह्वासन्धानम् इत्यध्यात्मम् इति मामः संहिताः। य एवमेतामहासंहिता व्याख्याता वेद सन्धीयते प्रजया पशुभिः ब्रह्मवर्चसेनान्नाद्येन सुवर्गेण लोकेन। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ समस्त ब्रह्मविद्या आचार्येभ्यो नमः ऋषिभ्यो नमः मुनिभ्यो नमः गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रीवेदव्यास सद्गुरवे नमः वैशम्पायन सद्गुरवे नमः याज्ञवल्क्य सद्गुरवे नमः आद्यशङ्कर सद्गुरवे नमः अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। Having saluted all the great rishis, we are in the effort of trying to analyze and study Sri Taittiriya Upanishad as explained to us by Bhagwan Adi Shankara through his Bhashyam. All things in the world's Vyavahara also are depending on our attentive listening, trying to understand and implement. In the same way, when it comes to the Vyavahara of the Dharma also, it is nothing but with a steady mind, understanding and implementing that Vyavahara of the Dharma for our better results. So too, whenever, wherever the values are taught to us in our Shastras, that is, attentively listening to those entire value system and understanding their utility, then making our life habitually value oriented so that the result of that value based life is experienced by us. In the same way, what is taught to us in the Shastras about Adhyatmaka Jivana is to be discovered first in our understanding about them, second, their utility, third, how to implement them, and thus through the implementation, whatever the benefit or profit that is promised, we have to experience. Simply, in short, we have to discover deeply with our attentive mind and analysis. We have to discover in ourselves the understanding about what this spiritual life is, then how this spiritual life is, and why this spiritual life is. To facilitate for our understanding, to facilitate for our abidance, the Guru and the Shastra give us these satsangas. But it is we who have to discover within me, like if I am spoken about Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is not a compulsion imposed on by anybody else outside, whether it is a God or the Shastra or Guru or anyone. I in myself have to discover the meaning and definition of this Karma Yoga, then the benefits of this Karma Yoga, then the means to practice this Karma Yoga. Then the inspiration from within me to consistently follow that till it becomes a habit. Like in the world outside, it is a land which is owned by me, whether I get it traditionally or I buy it. Then I is the one who have to plow the land, then remove the weeds, and then put all the proper plantation and water it and wait till it grows and gives me whatever the crop or the flowers or fruits or vegetables. It is all a conscious, deliberate practice by the farmer in his entire effort of getting that crop. It is doing something accidentally will not help him, knowing only theoretically will not help him, and non practice of the systematic steps also will not help him. Theory will have to know, and then every aspect of the whole, whatever you say, the farming he must know, and he should actually physically practice himself. Most important thing is what? When he is doing that farming, at every level of his doing, at every level of what is happening when he is doing something, he is aware of it. What to do, he is aware, like plowing. And he puts into practice what he has become aware of, called as practically plowing. Then he is aware of, has he plowing, did he do that plowing correctly, completely, perfectly or not? So too when he has to put the saplings. So the knowledge that I have to put the sapling. Then the practice of saplings put there. Then the observance, ki, have I put it properly or not? If yes, good. If not, adjust it. Is it not? Then am I watering it or not? First watering, then watering, then watering. Watering is a knowledge. Watering is a practice. Watering is an assurance that I have watered it. Then whatever the pesticides, if any pest is coming, or any fertilizers, if the land is not so fertile, external you have to add it. So it is a knowledge, he is aware of it. He is so fully aware. If it is a cotton crop, the fertilizers are not the same. If this is some other rice, then it is different. So too, for the different pest, the pesticide is not the same, it is different. So he knows it, he does it, he ensures it. And at every level of that crop coming up, he is fully aware. In fact, he is aware much before that about the timings. In the hottest summer, nobody does it. The farming, etc. As the clouds are coming, when it is known the monsoon rains are going to start, then keeping exactly the time, they do it so perfect. They don't have another other vidya like us, the science, etc. But that the science of farming, which is a high science, great science, he knows it perfectly. And when the crop is coming, he will not cut it just like that any time. He knows by the color, texture of that, कि at what time it should be. इनको पता इतना होता है कि exactly after 15 days I have to cut. So these 15 days he goes on protecting, then the कटौती का time, that time. So to anything, the farming में टोमेटो, तो कब कैसे उगाना है सब, और ऐसे कैसे तोड़ते नहीं टमाटर जो पकता है. He knows how many days it reaches to market. है ना, 4 days. So till 4 days टमाटर क्या है ना, उन द 4 days लाल बनना भी चाहिए, सड़ना भी नहीं चाहिए। तो उसके लिए अब तोड़ना है तो कौन सा वाला तोड़ना है? The mango, they don't allow the mango to fructify on the tree. Then by the time you pluck from the tree, it is broken, you can't sell it. Or pura kacha also you can't. Then no, from the greenish, it is slightly becoming yellowish. From at that time they pluck it. Then in the marketings, by the time it reaches to the shop, it should be hot. The shopkeeper needs 3 4 days shell time for the mango to get ripened, because the moment he brings, it's not that he gets customers. 2 days, 3 days. So that's now how much scientific process is there in that. Scientific means intellectual process in that farmer's mind. In the same way, a businessman, in the same way, a politician, he should protect his power, he should protect all the people around him, he should get the new people into the fold, and he should fulfill all the manifesto genuinely, honestly to serve the people. The two aspects of the politician are: one, all the aspects of the political science; second is the basis of that political science, that he should serve the people, he should make the standard of living and life of the people better. That should be the main ambition. Keeping that continuously in the mind, how to achieve it? In the process of that, all the resources, all the plannings, all the human resources, all the implementation, they all go on happen. A pakka politician, a high level scientist, any doctor, depending on the severity of the patient's illness, a highly scientific mind, not only the medical knowledge of every anatomy, physiology, or medication, but he should also know the patient, his condition, which medicine at what time to be given or even to be stopped. Once he is recouping in energy, the saline is reduced. Then slowly the liquid diet is given with the mouth. Then as he's gaining more confidence, then he stays thoda sa wo dahi wala chawal ya idli soft wala de do. No, none of them are accidental. Everything what a doctor does is highly thought, what to say, oriented thing. Keeping the goal of patient's health in mind, he prescribes. Why I am saying all these examples is same way in spirituality. Although the knowledge is given in the books, although the knowledge is given to us by the guru in the class, yet it is we who have to involve right from beginning till end, to put all the efforts to follow all these steps, to grow through all the processes till we reach final one. And what is required for all that is: one, the calm and quietness of the antakarana, Shuddha antakarana. Second, the desire as well as the inspiration born out of the desire to do that one. Like that, every example I gave of the farmer or politician or the doctor, the calm and quiet mind, antakarana shuddhi, then the desire for farming or for the treatment or for the taking care of the praja, then the inspiration born out of that desire. Then, when these two are there, desire and inspiration, then all the inner and outer resources gathering, managing, rightly utilizing, all of that obviously follows. Without that calmness and quietness, he will not have that noble desire. Without desire, the inspiration will not come. Without inspiration, all the resources are around, abilities are inside, but they just are dormant, they won't come into expression. In the same way, we all have the required abilities to discover the truth, required opportunities to discover the truth. The three things lacking are: we are not inspired. The inspiration is not there because we don't have strong desire for this spiritual evolution. That we don't have because the mind is not in calm and quiet to think as to what is to be sought ultimately. And that calmness and quietness of the mind is not there because we are carried away in the flow and gush of our own inner pre planned imaginary goals and ambitions, which we technically call them as desires, born out of the our own vasanas, or we are in the gush and flow of the misguidance which is coming to us from the world around us, from the sources which are ignorant. Like that, throughout life, we are doing something but not the thing, achieving something but not the thing. Therefore, there is small little pleasure, satisfaction, but not the fulfillment that I have achieved that for which I came. That satisfaction is not there to anyone. Therefore, with that Viveka Vairagya, when we keep the world little away, then that calmness, quietness is gained. With the calmness and quietness, then when you pursue directly or get the guidance of a guru, first we have to ask him what is ultimately to be obtained or gained or known. First हमको पता होना है with calm and quietness, information level. Very, very simply says, "Okay, nothing much about to think. Don't you see the world in front of you? Yeah. Is there anything in the world which is in front of you, seen by you, is permanent? No. Therefore, anything without the world, outside world, being temporary, the gain also can't be permanent. Now you know the seer of the world tentatively, not in details, but somebody, yeah, I know. But as the world is changing, is this you changing? No. That means there is something permanent in you. This is how the Guru's introduction starts. Then there is something in you permanent, everything other than it is temporary. Temporary cannot give you permanent. If you want permanent, you have to seek it. This is called the introduction to Adhyatmikata. Why Adhyatmikata? Because the Atma is the only one which is permanent, which is in our own selves, which is eternal, which is immutable, which is infinite. Therefore, when we discover it, abide in it, then we get thing which is permanent. That's how Guru slowly introduces. Then little interested disciple starts developing desire, first to intellectual understand. Then when that understanding becomes pakka, definitely the spiritual understanding about the self, which is a result of the desire and effort, should further create a desire that I must experience that self in me. This second desire will make him a true sadhaka. The first desire made him only to gather the information. After information is gathered, pakka he'll have to become the mumukshu, the jignasu that I must discover and establish in that. If that is not happening, that means he has not fulfilled his mission of knowing the glory of the self from the Guru. He has not applied himself properly. His mind was not calm and quiet. He had not got sufficient vairagya from the world. He did not do the viveka at all. If you do viveka, you will get vairagya from the world. If you have the vairagya, you will definitely have the jignasa as to what is to be gained. If you have the jignasa, definitely we will go to the Guru. If you have gone to the Guru, definitely Guru will tell us about the Adhyatma. If the Guru's teaching of Adhyatma is entered into us fully, definitely we will seek only the Adhyatma Vastu. If we seek the Adhyatma Vastu alone, then other than the Adhyatmic sadhana, we don't do anything else. If we do exclusively Adhyatmika sadhana, there's no way but you have to discover it. And if we really discover it, it is such an infinite blissful fulfillment, thereafter nothing remains to be known or to be done or to be gained. But the introduction's purpose is what? It is I who how much I have prepared my mind's calmness and quietness. It is I who has applied this calm and quietness, quiet mind in the pursuit of all this study. It is me who will have to ensure that I am becoming very clear in my understanding about every aspect, both of the goal as well as the means. And it is I who have to gather the required resources for the journey till I reach the destination. It is me using the resources, I'll have to start the journey. It is I have to start. And while I've started, I, I have to ensure that I won't get distracted or I won't revert back or I don't stop anywhere. And to distract us, to pull us back, or to stop us, so many sources will work from within and without. That is obvious. Because of that only, no, everybody who have not started. Because of those obstructions only, we did not start till the other day. Is it not? And those obstacles, in spite of that, we started. And they never stop troubling us, distracting us. Yet, keeping all that in mind, we have to keep on putting our efforts, not getting distracted, not getting stopped, not getting pulled back. Is it not? The present temptations around distract us. The past experiences pull us back. And the difficulties in the path make us stop. Many of the people either get distracted or go back or stop because of some obstacles which they don't understand that they have to conquer them and move ahead. And this process have of avoiding distraction, avoiding going back, and not stopping will have to continue till the final step is reached. Whose kartavyam all that? It is me. So the Guru or the Acharya, with the help of the Upanishad, he will teach what is Shanno Mitraha. Now the purpose of Shanno Mitra, the meaning of Shanno Mitra, we have to discover in ourselves and the practice of it. In the same way, the second one, Shikshamya kya syamaha varnaswaraha matrabalam samasandanaha iti ukta shikshadhyayah. बोल दिया आपको. I have taught you. Then I must understand. As much it is taught, anything extra else we want to know, putting our efforts, asking the question, each of the aspect, varna kya hai, swara kya hai, matra kya hai, balam kya hai, sama kya hai, santana kya hai, theoretical. Then the way to practice, then the actual practice, then the mastery over that. We have to ensure that we have really mastered, if not completely mastered, at least satisfactory level we have gained. Because in any of the outer inner sciences, master is not a goal reached. It's only a process. It is goes on, going on. Nobody can say. You can say this person is better than that. Therefore, he came first. He is first compared to the second, but he is not the best because best is yet to come. Compared to this, something better, something hota hi rehta hai. That's why, to the extent we can perfect or master satisfactory level, it is we have to know and do and see all these six things are done. This is how a person, by his own efforts, knowing and doing and growing, he ensures in himself. An Adhyatmika sadhaka's purna lakshana is like that. He is seeking the help but not depending outside. Is it not? I seek the help from others, but I do on myself. I can't do everything on my own. Therefore, I take the help. But I don't depend. Like you take the help from the Guru, but not depend on him. Depending is what? We are not doing and expecting something from the Guru to do for us. He has done already what he can do. He did his own preparation and taught us. He invoked the grace of the Lord on us. He also has spent some of his tapashakti. इससे क्या ज़्यादा और क्या करेंगे? बाकी हमको ही करना है. So, after discovering these Siksha Dhyaya, its importance and its practice, where we have understood the knowledge, sorry, the language thoroughly in its literal aspect or the scriptural aspect, script aspect, as well as the entire exhaustive pronunciation aspect, as well as its utilization. Once that is done, the next step is what? When we have understood the grammar or the language, second is doing the implementation of that grammar in the world. That is called as Upasana. Therefore, that Upasana is called as Upanishad here. That grammar rules is called as Samhita here. And as we explained yesterday very exhaustively, if you remember, just like the NAADA added with all the grammar rules, has become the exhaustive thousands of languages of the world, which have the utility value of communication and transaction. Nada has become thousands of languages through grammar. And each language has its own grammar, vocabulary, it's okay. How Korean is different, Japanese is different, Chinese is different, American is different, France का अलग होता है. Is it not? The application is different, but the process is same. The nada alone becoming the aksharas, becoming the padas, and to those padas they are giving different meaning, but the making of the pada and making of the sentence, for that they have their own different rules of grammar. Here we are sticking to our Sanskrit. Now, once this is done, second level is what? Just like the Nada expanded is the entire world of language through the grammar, so too the same Paramatma alone be attentive with the grammar rules of creation. Here, the grammar rules of creation is the creation which is in front of us, which is a continuous process. Just like learning knowledge, grammar, or language has made our life easy in communication, so too discovering the grammar of creation and its rules and its utility and its relation to us and our involvement in that. These are all the grammar here. Makes our life easy here. Like the communication is made easy by the language related knowledge, so to living becomes easy by the living related knowledge. Here also it is called as Vyakaranam grammar, here also the grammar of life. The grammar of life it is called as Upasana here, wherein we are discovering the independent aspects, we are discovering the mutual relation, we are discovering the outcome of that mutual relation, and we are discovering the substratum on the basis of which all these are happening. Like the substratum is the nadam, then one word, then the other word, then the relation between them, then the outcome of it. The relation can be the sandhi, the relation can be the samasa, the relations can be the cases. I'm talking about the grammar. Whatever it can be the relation, but the outcome is something. The outcome of these, the sandhi of these two is something different, where in some cases you reduce the effort of utterance. In cases, some places you made it easy for the communication or understanding. सो संधि का एक लक्षण क्या है? उच्चारण में समय को कम करता है. समास क्या करता है? समझदारी को छोटा कर देता है. Like the Dasarathi. In Dasarathi, there is no sandhi rule, but there is samasa. What that samasa has done? Dasharathasya putraha Ramaha. So Dasharathasya putraha Ramaha. It is three words, the long words. All of them are made as Dasarathi. So Dasharathasya putraha Rama is the Vigraha Vakya. Shashti Tatpurusha is the Samasa. What is the meaning? It is Rama. Dasharathi, in that word there is no Rama in the word. But when you apply the grammar rule of Samasa, you will discover Rama. Then why can't you call Rama directly? Why do you say Dasharatha? Rama is only 2 letters. Dasharatha is 4 letters. In many occasions we call Rama only. But here the Dasharatha is said for telling us about the Vamsha of the Rama to which he belongs to, his identity, his father, his greatness. हमको कहना है. इसलिए, see, Rama is a word, Rama is a complete person by himself, but he has his own origin. Whose son? When that question comes, Dasharathasya putra, we have to say. So Dasharatha. Immediately what understanding comes to us? Rama's identity is revealed to us, that he is son of Dasharatha. Along with that, the greatness of the Dasharatha, therefore the Rama also is so great. The other such relative aspects also we come to know when the Dasharati word is used. So too the Ikshvaku Vamshaha. The moment Ikshvaku Vamsha means the whole Vamsha's glory comes to Rama. Therefore he is like that. When I address Rama as Dasharati, it's a reminder to Rama also that you are son of Dasharatha, therefore you behave properly as you learned from your father. So these are the purposes. See, in the language, Meena, there is a purpose of giving some knowledge. There is some purpose of reminding something. There is some purpose of inspiration giving. Some purpose of recognizing their greatness. Some purpose of sharing that love. How many things are done through language? Language is not an empty thing. So for communicating each of them through different grammar rules, that utterance of those words go on changing. Is it not? So Lakshmana Agraja, when we say, he is also Rama, Bharata Agraja, we say that Ayodhyapati, Sitapati, all are indicating Rama only. But in using each of the word, we are telling different purposes there. राम के ही बारे में कह रहे हैं लेकिन राम के अलग अलग पहलुओं के बारे में कह रहे हैं लैंग्वेज इसलिए होता है now in the same way this grammar which we have practiced ourselves only at the language level same is in the world also in the world also like in the language what is happening is one nada is appearing as so many one paramatma is appearing as so many remember discovering paramatma is liberation as my own self. But discovering Paramatma in the form of the happenings in the world is called Upasana. Remember, without doing Upasana, in which presence of Paramatma is felt everywhere, we cannot reach to Paramatma, which is a result of Jnana. Upasana is the one which makes us familiar with the Paramatma and his greatness in the form of the world. That familiarity, that affection, discovered because of continuous upasana, okay, is the one which is a basis, is the one which is a necessary quality later on to discard all the great things that are happening in this world by Paramatma's grace and directly discover it. And as we said yesterday toward the end, if you remember, in this world, whatever is happening is going on simply happening. We will not add anything from our side to create a samsara. Point one. And everything that is by itself is so wonderful for us to observe and enjoy. And in and through happening, what do we see is the entire power and presence of the Paramatma. Then a question should come. Such a huge world, so glorious, so wonderful to see. The performer of this, the world itself, it is so great, beautiful. How wonderful must be the one who is doing all that. Let me meet him. So the Jagat Upasana leads to Jagat Karta's Upasana. Jagat Karta's Upasana takes us very close to him. In the final closeness, we merge with him. Without becoming closer, we can't merge in him. Without doing upasana, we cannot become closer to him. And upasana is what? Always searching the one who is behind this. Before that, what is there is to be recognized as so glorious. Before that, we should stop the nonsense of the mind and its projections. The projections of mind are only three: desire, liking, disliking. Kamana, Raga, and Dvesha. There's only nothing but desire. They're only the diseases of the mind. When these diseases are not there, then we are at ease. With that at ease or peace of mind, we observe the world. And through the world observance, we have to reach the one in whose presence or power these are all happening. So if the creation seen by us takes our attention toward the creator, then we are intelligent. Then creator cannot reveal to us unless he likes it, he wants to. And for him to want to reveal to us, we have to do the upasana. In the fulfillment of upasana, slowly he starts revealing one by one great glorious aspects of him. And the final aspects of his real nature when he reveals, we discover it that he and me are one. होएगा धीरे धीरे धीरे. So in this way, after Shanti Mantra, after the Siksha Adhyaya, now Upasana of the Paramatma by observing his glorious contribution, his glorious activity in the world is taught to us. That's called Athatas Sagamhitayaha Upanishadam Vyakyasyamaha. Before that, Sahanau Yashaha Sahanau Brahma Varchasam. Very clearly we try to see. Yashaha is in succeeding in the transfer of knowledge. What knowledge? About the Upasana Upanishad, Brahma Vidya Upanishad, which are the next two subjects in the entire Upanishad. First portion will lead to the Upasana Upanishad, later on pure Brahma Vidya Upanishad. So the Guru teaches his disciple, disciple successfully learns from the Guru. That is the first one. Sahanao Yashasaha. Then when that is implemented, that knowledge, obviously, right now we have Dehosmi Rupa Dehavarchas. Then Kama Krodha Yukta Asmi, therefore that Varchas is there in us. Then, therefore, Jivosmi, that Varchas is there in us. Thereafter, Aham Brahmasmi, Varchas will come. That is called as Brahma Varchas. Therefore, Sahanau Yashaha, Sahanau Brahma Varchasa. Varchas is makeup. Like a person is there. You make him, you do the makeup on him like Rama, so Rama Varchas came in him. In another role, you make him as the Krishna, then Krishna Varchas is appearing. You make makeup bahar karte hain to. So inner makeup is called as inner Varchas. So now we are Dehosmi, Jihosmi. Later on, Aham Brahmasmi. Therefore, Sahanao Brahma Varchasa. And this, the Akrutartata is there in disciple. Therefore, the Brahma Varchaka Agmana is for the disciple. Expectedly, Acharya should be always in that Brahma Varchas, it is said. This is to support the sentence that only a Brahma Anubhava Vyakti should become the Guru. Shrotriya Brahmanishta, the Guru should be what is said in all Shastras. To substantiate it in the Bhashya, the Bhashyakara is saying that Sahanau Yasha is for both of them, but Sahanau Brahma Varchasam, though is chanted by both, but mainly applicable to disciple who is yet to be Krutartha, not to the Guru who is already Krutartha. So, the Upanishadi Gurus are already enlightened. We should never have a doubt that they are also seekers like us. No, they are already reached the sort. Then we have seen yesterday, after that, Athata Sagamhitayaha Upanishadam Vakyasyama means Samhita Upanishad we are teaching. Samhita is Sandhi, Upanishad is Upasana. So, the Upasana means trying to understand, trying to accept, and trying to feel about the sandhis that are happening in the world without any our projection or the biasness, and discovering the presence of him behind all that. This is called as Samhita Upanishad. संधि रूल के द्वारा परमात्मा का नजदीक जाना by seeing his glorious activity, dynamism in the happenings of the world. So what we are seeing is the world. What we discover is the one in whose grace or presence or ability, whatever you say, this is happening. Before that, what is happening? When you see the world, we are reminding our minds, ourselves, we are reminding of our own desires, and we are interpreting the world as an object of enjoyment for us, and we are approaching the world like that only. This is called as samsara. So when you see a mango, the desire in the mango comes and I pluck it and eat, I am a samsara. But when you see the mango and then understand the creator of the mango called as the Mali, you are sadhaka, who has sown the seed, so that the plant has grown. 12-15 साल लगता है. So first one is a bhogi who sees the world as only object of enjoyment. Second one is a yogi through the objects seen, the one who sees the maker of this whole world, the Lord. That's called a upasana. Upa means nazdik, nearby. Asana is sitting to the one who is a giver of all that, creator of all that. So he is there, like Paramatma is there. He expresses nada. Nada got dichotomatized into the words. Then words combination became the sentences for communicating various things. The knowledges, the information, the inspiration, the request. बाद में कुछ भी हो. In the same way, the Lord is there, His Prakriti Maya Shakti is there, which is expressing in its gross or subtle form in the form of this world. And the mutual combination of the things that are created from the Lord's Maya Shakti is this entire world. So, what are the things we have to do in Upasana? First, we have to open eyes and see the world. Then, we have to see the contents that are there. Third, we have to see the mutual relation out of them. Fourth, what is coming out of the mutual relation. Fifth one is what? The one who is present in and through all that, because of whom all are happening. After this Upasana for a long time, we learn a habit of seeing the world but getting reminded of the God. Like every day when you do upasana to your the Lord Vishnu or Shaligrama, you see Shaligrama, but you are reminded of this Vishnu. You see Shivalinga, but you are reminded of Shiva Tattva. Like you see a person, but you are reminded that she is my mother or is my father. Because the upasana is being done. You see a house, but you say it is my house. Because upasana. You are not seeing my house. My house is a upasana. House is the reality. Reality means that way, practical. Is it not? In the same way, seeing the world reminded of the Lord. If this is achieved, then your upasana is completed. The upasana will take to us in the next step of jignasa. Then who is he? Where is he? How is he? In that jignasa, then is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, that is taught. And that subject is so funny, interesting. That Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma is everywhere there, in every kana kana of the entire universe is seen, and also me, the one who is observing the world, wanting to know the truth. He alone is the goal. He alone is the me who has to reach the goal. And all the process of reaching him is again he alone. The Paramatma only is appearing as Guru, only appearing as Pustakam, only is appearing as the teaching. He is the only one appearing as our own Antakarana. He alone is appearing as our effort to understand and the understanding. He alone is a meditation and he is the one who is reached. वो वहाँ जाने के बाद फिर वो अलग आश्चर्य होता है. Now we will not enter into that. Practically when we do, we will know it. So what is said here? Samhita Upanishad we are teaching you, in which five basic happenings in the world are taken as samples or examples. Later on, everything is a sample and example which you have to develop. Five we are giving to show you how the two things are brought together through some rule to appear in this form for the beautification of this world. And all of them are done by the substratum which is behind all. And him you cannot see. You can see the fan and its movement. You can't see electricity. You can never see electricity. You can never talk about electricity. You can never touch electricity, smell and all. Yet, it is more reality than the fan and its movement. So, to the self can never be objectively seen or understood or caught, but it is objectively experienced. There is no other way. Keep always in mind. Bhagavan is never understandable as an object. You understand? If it is understood, it is only a concept. Bhagavan is not concept, it is a reality. He is only experienced as subject. But to experience as subject, you have to deeply contemplate. To contemplate, you must have the worthiness about the God in your heart. For that only the entire satsanga. All satsanga is only to create the worthiness and introvertedness, to discover the Lord who can be discovered subjectively as I. There is no other way. Never ever in that delusion that I am studying Shastra, therefore Brahma will appear in front of me. I can feel him, I can smell or taste or touch him, or I will understand him. Swamiji, I am studying so many Upanishads, but still I am not understanding Brahma Vidya. Do you mean to say that my study is not correct? You are correct. If you are not understanding Brahma Vidya or Brahma Tattva to Upanishads, you are correct. Because Brahma Tattva is not a concept of understanding. The whole study of Shastra only gives us convincingly the presence of the truth. Then Lakshana Vakya tells us ki Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Again, that word Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. If the Guru teaches you 1,000 times, you listen it 1,000 times, you utter 1,000 times, you write it on the book 2,000 times, that is not going to fetch you the mukti. These words, Pratyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, has to be discovered in ourselves as our own self, in experience. तभी जाकर मुक्ति होगा. That you keep in mind always. That is our goal. But to try for that, whatever the obstacles are there in the form of non-inspiration, non-liking, or extrovertedness, इस सब सत्संग के द्वारा all the obstacles are removed. Like the sentence, Brahmavid apnoti param. So, do you want the lower or higher? I want higher. You want higher or highest? I want highest. Highest is achieved by the one who knows Brahma. When it is said, then obviously let me know the Brahma. Okay, I tell you. Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Where is he? Nitam Guhayam Parame Vyohan. How to discover him? Through Panchakosha Viveka. This is the subject going to come. Where we are studying exclusively about Brahman. But before that, his indirect presence has to be discovered behind the world which is directly seen by us. That's called Upasana. In the Upasana, we discover the presence of the Lord who is indirectly present in the happening of everything. In the presence of Lord in the Shaligrama, we are discovering through the Upasana. And in the Shaligrama, the Lord is indirectly present. And where is he present directly? In your own self, as you. The training is given to me in that Shivalinga, the Lord. In that Murti is Lord. So there is a Krishna Bhagavan's Murti. Murti reminds me as a Krishna. Krishna reminds me as Avatara. Avatara reminds me of the Narayana. Narayana should remind me of the Parabrahma. Parabrahma is discovered in myself. Is it not? I consider myself a Jiva and Deha. I consider that as a stone. This is the utter ignorance. It is not stone, it is Parabrahma. I am not the Jiva, I am Brahma, Parabrahma. Both are Parabrahma. This is the final goal. उसके लिए the starting is seeing that stone as Krishna, Krishna as the Bhagavan, Bhagavan as the Avatara. We are, stone remains as stone, but we change in our understanding. We change in our experience. When I see the Lord Krishna or Shaligrama Vishnu in my puja room and I get the tears of devotion, others will not get. Others will see only a stone. Like when I see my mother, the devotion which I feel for her, gratitude, others will not. He will feel for his mother. I will not feel. Because I trained myself this way, you trained yourself that way. Upasana. The one who does upasana of the world as Paramatma, everywhere for him, Paramatma alone is felt in the world. That's the result of upasana. Like when I see Ganga ji as a Mother Ganga, so for me, Ganga is Mother Ganga, Devi. For others, it's only mere water. Hmm. So, Samhita Upanishad is a training given to us to discover the presence of the Lord who is indirectly present there by using the Sandhi rules. And here, what is done? What is happening is observed, that's it, consciously. What is happening is consciously observed. And in that happening, the presence of Him is felt because you have not done that. He is doing it. Upasana is to near to the Lord's presence in and through whatever is happening around. Like if I can discover the Lord behind my own Uchvasa Nishvasa, my Upasana is done. If I discover the Lord in the growth of my body from childhood to the old age, the presence of the Lord, then I am doing Upasana because it is His presence, His grace that allowing this Deha to go on changing. When small plant has become tree, in that if you can discover the Lord, it is called as Upasana. Be careful here. All other things that the roots of the tree are taking the water and salts, the leaves are taking the sunlight, photosynthesis, all of them are processes. In and through all process, who is working is He. Like my nine systems of the body are working. They're all processes for the sustenance of the body. Science talks only about that. But in whose presence these are happening? That is Upasana. And not in one person it is happening. It is happening so many. Every जीव में ये सब चल रहे हैं. So उसको discover करना उपासना. Upasana is to be aware of Him who is there in and through of everything that is present and everything that is happening. After that, Jignasa. Who is He? That He is found to be Satyam Jnanam Anantam, and that Satyam Jnanam Anantam is not an object, it is you only. In that final discovery, you discover you are that. This is the only way. You are that is only the final discovery. Any other discovery is not final. Advaita, Ekatva with the Brahma alone is final discovery. Let it happen after 1,000 lives. Who bothers? We are happily enjoying now the process. Process of knowing, process of doing upasana, process of feeling His presence felt everywhere. We are enjoying. Like when you are in your house, every object when you see, it is brought by your Father. So when you discover the Father who is the giver behind every of the object, you have done the upasana of Father. My pen or pencil or notebook or my dress, the place where I am sitting, सब किन्होंने दिया? पिताजी ने. Forgetting Pitaji and caught up in the objects is a pakka samsara. Contacting the Father only for again selfishness, it is little better upasana, but again it is selfishness. In and through everything, discover Father's kindness and thank Him and make right use of it is a higher upasana. And every father is such a cute. He knows what his child needs and he goes on giving. Child need not ask. Stupid fellow. If he uses what father gives, if he follows what father says, he gets everything. But as the child grows, he becomes egoistic, which is not called as a growth. Actually, it is a falling only. He grows in falling. Anyway, this is how in the world. Now, panchasu adhikaraneshu. Okay, yesterday we saw all this. The last line only we have to study here. Samhitayaha Upanishadam Vyakyasyamaha. What is the Samhitaya Upanishadam? Is Samhita Vishayam Darshanam iti etatu. Again I am saying Samhita means Sandhi. Sandhi Vishayam Darshanam. Darshanam is not the Vedanta philosophy Darshanam. Visualizing the Sandhi Tara in the language as if the Sandhi rules are applied between two words and an outcome comes out of it. In the same way, the Samhita happening in the world between two things, and the third thing is coming out of it. A beautiful phenomena is happening in the combination of the world. So the world is sandhi of few things. Then the anusandhanam is done between those things by the presence of some divinity. And it's a beautiful, glorious thing that's happening. Like in the tree. The sandhi is happening between so many things of the sunlight or the leaves or the roots or the tree or the water as well as the minerals. All of that put together is bringing out that fruit or flower. The observance of all the presence of these things, mutual relation, and coming out, bring the expression of the fruit or flower to through us. Through that, observation of all that is called upasana. That is called as Samhita Upanishad. Scientists are doing, but they're not recognizing the presence of conscious being behind all of them. They're only technical aspects they are telling about. This is how it is happening. That itself is to a great extent Samhita Upasana. But discovering the presence of some nobility behind that is called spirituality. To the science, if they add the presence of consciousness with respect and reverence, that becomes spirituality. So then there's will no more be an investigation. That's called now as upasana. जहाँ भगवान का जिक्र नहीं होता वो इन्वेस्टिगेशन होता है, जहाँ भगवान आ जाते हैं वो उपासना हो जाता है. The scientists, when they add the idea of Paramatma behind, all their scientific research has become upasanas. Is it not? And with awe and veneration, when they do, then that upasana becomes bhakti. Only when they do it only utility value, then they are samsari. देखो, I'll tell you one thing. When the science discovers something, definitely it will help in the comforts of the people. What is great about it? But that should not be the goal. The goal is to discover with reverence and respect that principle and the one who is behind that. There are two people in the one who has put that principle, second, the one who is discovered. The one who put the principle also, the conscious Paramatma, the same conscious Paramatma in me as a scientist is making me discover it. Focusing attention on him in the entire process of discovering and utilizing that science principle is called as Upasana and Bhakti. So a Bhakta sees Bhagavan in everything and uses it to the extent required. A Bhakta sees Paramatma's Krupa in the Annam. He takes the Annam as Bhagavan's Krupa, therefore called as Prasada, and only to that extent which is required for survival. See that? A step added is what? What is the purpose of that life then after eating that food? Only to discover oneness with him, nearness with him. Nearness finally ends in merger. When you merge it, it is one. Before merging, you have to become near. And the final nearness is becoming one with him. So becoming near is called upasana, becoming merging with him as is called as ekata anubhuti. So the same world which is taking us away from the self at the level of ignorance is become the same world becomes the means for us to take us near the Lord or the reality after the knowledge. And that knowledge which takes us near the God is Brahma Vidya or Atma Vidya or Upanishad Vidya or Paravidya. And all that knowledge which takes us away from the truth reality is not Vidya, it is Avidya. Therefore, any Vidya is an Avidya if the Bhagavan is not brought there. Any avidya becomes vidya if you bring Bhagavan in that. Like Natyam. It is only a avidya as long as Bhagavan is not there in that. If you bring the Natya mein Bhagavan ko le aao, it has become vidya, upasana. So what is the vidya aspect of it? It's the Lord who gave this Natya Shastra, who invented or gave this Natya Shastra. Is the Lord who gave all the Natya Acharyas. It is the Lord who in me is making learn this Natyam. So the teacher is there, teaching is going on, taught is there, is learning, but the Lord is remembered. That is Upasana. Therefore, for Sanatana Dharmi, Vedantin, everything is Upasana where we are nearing to the Godhood. We are refusing this Maya's power to take us away from the Lord. The same Maya we are using to near the God. So if you involve in the dance, you will be caught up in the Maya forgetting God. Therefore, we do the dance, but don't miss the God. How? By doing the upasana of the God through the dance, through the arts. Everything for us is only upasana. As I said, even the farming is upasana of Lord. We worship Bhumata before plowing the Lord. We worship the Jala Devata before watering the plant. We worship Surya Devata to give us the Kanti. We pray to the Varsha Devata to give the rain. For us, everything is Devata. Then the food, when it comes, we call it as Anna Devata. And that we offer to the Lord and take as prasada. Hinduism is never away from God. And if in our day to day life, though we claim as Hindus, if we are not remembering of the God, we are not Hindus. This is called Adhyatmikata. Adhyatma is not books. Adhyatma is not temples. Adhyatma is not the gross external mechanical doings. Adhyatmikata is discovering within me the ability to be continuously in the Upasana of Paramatma, from whom everything has come. There are only two things in the world. One is Bhagwan, second is his expression. His expression is everything, and he is my own self. By discovering his expression is everything is called Upasana. By identifying myself with him is called as Jnanam. To facilitate to the Jnana and Upasana, whatever we do is called Karma Yoga. Only that much we should do. So for that you have to live. To live you have to eat food. Only that much you eat to live, so that you do the Upasana to become closer to the Lord, finally to merge in Him. In this way, when the idea becomes very clear to us, we are highly matured, not otherwise. So, Samhita Upanishad means, like in the Sandhi of grammar, so too in the world, there is Sandhi is happening. Then observing that is called as Upasana. And while doing so, remembering of the presence of Paramatma in that is called Upasana. Kuch nahi kar. Like see the pushpam, how it is blossoming, although you can't see that actually naked eye may. But see, it was bud and became flower. It is the presence of the Lord. You say that you have already done the Upasana. Upasana is a strong, beautiful bhavana of the presence of Him in and through the entire phenomena that is happening. And naturally, without Him, it won't happen. So, we will now, after chanted this, Grantha Sannikrishtameva Vakyasyamaha Panchasu Adhikaraneshu Ashrayeshu Jnana Visheshu Ityartha. So, 5 examples are given for us to get trained about doing the Samhita Upanishad is equal to Sandhi Upasana. Once you are trained with the help of these 5, in and through you can apply this principle to see the Paramatma's presence in what is happening in the world around. Yeah. Now, first one among them. Okay. What is it? Kanitani ityataha adilokam adijyotisham adividyam adiprajam adhyatmam. These are the 5 examples. So Shankara Bhagavan just enumerate the 5 of them. Then the first one he teaches us how to do the Samhita Upanishad or Sandhi Upasana. Then the remaining Samanam Etat, all else you do. You're not a child that everything I have to tell you. The teacher will tell you the formula, and one problem he helps in solving. The remaining you have to solve. That's it. Interesting. How to add the things he will tell. Thoda. Baki he will give only experiment, examples or the test. You have to apply your learning of addition or subtraction or multiplication and division and sort out that. That's a training to you. Okay. Now, adhilokam. Adhilokam means lokeshu adhi yat darshanam tat adhilokam. So, in the loka in front of your eyes, you see the sandhi. That's called upasana. So, related to the loka. So, to tatha adhijyautisham. So, you see the jyoti that is in front. Jyotisham is not the astrology here. The jyoti, that luminous things in front of you. So, general, the world you are seeing, like everybody are seeing, or you yourself are seeing earlier. Now you will see the upasana in that, sandhi in that. So, in the loka, seeing the upasana or the sandhi is called adhilokam. In the Jyotirmandalam, seeing the sandhi is called as the Jyotirmandala Sambandha Upasana. In the same way, in the Vidya, you are seeing that sandhi that is happening. That seeing the sandhi that is happening in the Vidya is called as the Vidya Upasanam. Samhita Upasana here with regard to Vidya. So Adhilokam, Adhijyautisham, Adhividyam, then Adhiprajam. So everybody knows how the praja and all saddhati. But in that praja, when you are able to see the Saddhi and Sandhanam, you are doing the Upasana. So in the Upasana, the two aspects is crystal clear presence of the ingredients, they are coming out, coming together, and the outcome. First step of Upasana. Second is the awareness about the one who is behind it. Who is he? We have not started the inquiry. But somebody is there behind, without whom it will not happen. Who is that? To create jijnasa in him, we are doing upasana. Is it not? Like in any of the temples, every place you go, if you see a name common as a donor, naturally you will ask after 7 places, अरे कौन है भाई, इनका नाम हर जगह दिख रहा है कि हर जगह उन्होंने डोनेशन दिया. You ask him कौन है, then you say he's such a सेठजी वगैरह, very spiritual type of person, so he gives lot and everybody goes to him, and he is not only the giver in the beginning, but every month he contributes so that these things are sustaining. Mahapurushas, they are there like that in the world. Great. The Birlas and all of them, always they support the spiritual things. An example. In the same way, through this Samhita Upanishad or Upasana, when we are again and again reminded of presence of someone behind, it may have a chance to give a question in our mind. Then who is that he, because of whom all these are happening? Then Upasana is dropped now. The inquiry about him starts. Before Upasana is done, what is happening to us? We are seeing the world and imposing the world enjoyability because of our vasanas, and we are running behind world only for the bhoga. After that, we are tired, we sleep. Again, when you get up next up, again we see the world, we take it as enjoyable object and we indulge in that. Like a pashu. Pashu means not a abuse, a lower level of life. The one who sees the world only for bhoga, not for upasana. A higher level is upasana. Seeing the mango and eating is bhoga. Seeing the mango, discovering the one who created the mango, thanking him, taking his permission, and taking with respect and reverence to the mango is called upasana. Same thing, no? Seeing the fruit and eating is bhoga, but taking the fruit, putting it in front of your Lord Krishna or Rama and offering to him and taking it as prasada, giving all and you take it. This is called upasana. This is a Pauranika upasana. But Vedic upasana is you need not pluck the flower or fruit from the tree then offer to the Lord. Pauranik upasana is, Vedic upasana is in the level of understanding only, nothing to do there. They look at the mango, they understand the giver of the mango, they offer the mango in the mind only to him, then they take the permission from him and they pluck only one mango. Half they give to other, they eat other half. But so many are there. Why don't we pluck them and store for it tomorrow? No, no, no. For me, only half mango. The remaining are for other birds, for other animals, for all those bandar, etc. Not for me. We will not be a bhogi to covet everything. That is a Vedic type. You understand the difference in upasana of doing? First upasana is doing. Thereafter, upasana is every moment. At the level of upasana higher mena, the moment I wake up, I remember the God who gave me a sound sleep. I remember the God who made me awaken. Now I remember the Lord who is putting in front of me a great opportunity called as day. And every moment I am reminded of the Lord who is reminding me of my kartavya, my shakti, my jnanam. Dekho, if in all my 6 classes per day, if I remember Puja Gurudev, his kripa, his blessing, his guidance, I am doing his upasana. In between whatever sadhanas are done throughout the day, little subtler if he become, he is the one whose grace is making my body sustain, my mind be alive and all. अगर उनका हम देखते हैं तो उपासना और डबल हो रहा है, and that's a fact. Upasana is not a manipulated, created thing. You are not manipulating Bhagavan Vishnu in the Shaligrama. Ah, Vishnu is already there in Shaligrama. You are discovering his presence in your mind. That is Upasana. When the upasana fructifies or becomes matured, then the drishti changes. Then either you feel that Vishnu is very much in that. If you insist on that, then Vishnu appears once and says, Dekho bhai main hu, bar bar mat bulana. You worship me only as idol, then you accept me as Narayana. Is it not? Bhagavan is very much there in Shivalinga. He will be in the form of Shivalinga only. He will not come as Shiva. If he comes as Shiva, instead of Shiva Linga, with the amount of milk as offered, he is no more Shivalinga. He will be Shivalinga only. He says, my presence you discover in you, but your Abhishek is only to my Linga. Otherwise, very awkward that भगवान को खड़ा करके सुबह से शाम तक नहलाई जा रहे, like that every day you are doing. It is so funny. Understood? It is done for pratik for developing upasana. So I do 11 times Abhisheka for creating bhavana in me that I am doing Abhishek to the Shiva. Not that Shiva is given bath 11 times. पूरा उनका खराब हो जाएगा शरीर इतने बार नहाने से. These are very sublime things. They will click one day, not immediately. Now, in this way, tatha adhijyotisham, adhividyam, adhiprajam, adhyatmam iti. So, adhilokam, adhijyotisham, adhividyam, Adi Prajam, Adi Atmam. These are the 5 examples in which the Samhita Upanishad or Sandhi Upasana is taught. Then the entire life of yours continuously Upasana till the jignasa to know becomes stronger. Thereafter, no need of Upasana, only the inquiry, contemplation. Clear? Now, before explaining each one of them, the Rishi said here one sentence. What is that? Ta Mahasagamhita iti achakshate. They are called as Mahasamhita by the saints and sages. After saying that, then he will take each one. Athadhi lokam. Now we are explaining to you the Adhiloka related Samhita Upanishad or Sandhi Upasana. In that, this is the Purva Rupam, this is called Uttar Rupam, this is called as Sandhi, this is called as Sandhana. But you have to understand all these, then the common denominator behind them. Your Upasana is done. Every time when you do it, then what you see becomes secondary. The one whose presence is making that happening becomes primary. This is called Upasana. Seeing Shaligrama and remembering Vishnu is Upasana. For that training is given. Training is fulfilled in the natural seeing of Vishnu in the Shaligrama. Then the beauty of that is what? In my own puja room, by practice, when I discovered the Upasana or the result of seeing Vishnu in Shaligram, wherever in the world I go and see Shaligram, I see Vishnu only. Wherever I see Shivalinga, I see Shiva only. Training here has helped me to see Vishnu or Shiva everywhere. And this seeing Vishnu or Shiva in Shivalingara, Shaligrama is only beginning. Later on, you learn the thought कि कोई भी वस्तु को देखकर आप उनको भगवान मान सकते हैं. This is the later on upasana. Thereafter, you don't need to do abhishek to Vishnu or Shiva. Anything you see, take it as God. You are doing highest upasana. If this upasana of ours doesn't lead to this higher upasana of seeing everything and taking it as God, then this earlier upasana is not matured. Thereafter, the trees, plants, mountains, everything is He only. Then, what is the attitude? Like when you see Lord Vishnu in the Shaligrama, you offer to Him, you don't take from Him. You serve Him, you don't trouble Him. That's called Upasana. So, too, you offer to the world, don't take from the world. You serve the world, not trouble world. If this is happening in me, the Upasaka is complete. And the final attitude is, I am here to serve and give, not to take and trouble. Upasana. So what is that? Tamaha sagamhita iti achakshate. He says, ta etaha pancha vishayaha upanishadaha loka adi mahavastu vishayatvat samhita vishayatvat cha mahatyah cha taha samhita cha mahasamhitaha iti achakshate katayanti veda vidaha. लोकादि महावस्तु विषयत्वात् संहिता विषयत्वात्. So taha mahasagamhita iti achakshate. These five are called as mahasamhita. In the beginning, Guru is saying this. I'll explain about this little detail tomorrow. Today only touch. Ki, these are the mahavishayas and samhita vishayas. They are called as mahasamhita vishayas. What is the meaning of maha? Maha means mahavastu vishaya. Mahavastu means they are huge, very valuable, important are the Vishayas. And they are Samhita Vishaya, means they are related to Brahma. So they are great Vishayas, they are Vishayas related to Brahma. Why suddenly this sentence came in the beginning? Only to say that don't do this Upasana of Samhita very lightly. Take it seriously and sincerely. Like when you are taken to a great Mahatma by your friend, you will not just take, Are jao, namaskar karo. No, he says in the beginning, ki we are going to meet that great Mahatma, he is so and so, 15 minutes will explain to you. After all that explanation, then you need not be told how to behave in front of him. Because all this is told only to tell you that you should behave in front of him in that way. Is it not? So, to these pancha upasanas which you are doing, don't do them carelessly. Do them very seriously, because these are talked about Mahavishaya and Samhita Vishaya. So our mind is prepared to say it is not an ordinary things you are discussing about. Like the शालिग्राम जब देते हैं भगवान का उपासना करने को गुरु, he should tell, you don't underestimate, it's a stone, it's a Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu, who is the one Srishti Sthiti Laya Karaka, whose grace every jiva is living, his grace alone is the one with which we get whatever we want. Of that Vishnu you are doing upasana in the Shaligrama. Be careful. That is what is done in the entire Prana Pratishtha mantras in the Mandira. All in the Prana Pratishtha mantras, what is said is, what the linga or the vigraha or pratishtha doing is not a stone, is Bhagavan. And Bhagavan is not a name, he is the one with so many of divinity's qualities. Keeping that in mind, of that Lord's upasana you are doing through this pratika. Why the pratika in the temple? Because every time he cannot come to you and you can't go to him every time. But every day you have to do upasana to develop it. Therefore, a pratika is given. Very subtle. Mahasamhita iti achakshate. This is, I said, Ata Samhitaya Upanishadam Vakya Samha, but I'm adding to you, not ordinary Samhita, Mahasamhita. Because Maha Vishayas are there, Samhita. Samhita is Upanishad, Maha means the greatest. You are talking about the greatest things which are contributing to the world, to the sustenance of the totality. Secondly, behind them, the topic is Parabrahma. Therefore, the Upasana, don't do mechanically, do it very reverentially. What is that? A beautiful thing you will enjoy. Tomorrow we will see it. उसके बाद आएगा यश्चंद साम्र शुभ मंत्र, so very essential. That's how slowly Upanishad is preparing us. So it taught us the Bhasha Vyakaranam, it's teaching us the Upasana now, it will teach us the Brahma Vidya. Om, 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 ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरि ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः परमऋषिभ्यो नमः परब्रह्मणे नमः श्रुतिमात्रे नमः वेदव्याससद्गुरवे नमः वैशम्पायनसद्गुरवे नमः याज्ञवल्क्यसद्गुरवे नमः आद्यशङ्करसद्गुरवे नमः अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः तत्सद्ब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु।